Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life.W.Lindsay. Today, we have a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, that is when I work on my current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress, and you can work on whatever it is that you are working on. It can be a craft project, it can be a household project, it could be while you're driving, while you're at work, while you're just hanging out, doing absolutely nothing, doing everything. There's no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. I'm going to pull out a couple pens here as I chit-chat with you guys. I guess I should probably let you know, these are Lazy River pens. This is a Kevin's Creations pen. There was another pen, and I don't know where it went. So, if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and other crafting-related content. And if you have been here before, welcome back. You guys, I love a returning friend. Don't we all? So, if you guys are seeing this, and, I mean, I guess you are seeing this if I'm saying that. Usually I get my WIP Chats up on Monday. Unfortunately, this is not going up on a Monday, but I did leave a cute little what I made in a month video. I will link that up in the eye for you guys if you want to check that out. I'm just chugging away. I actually haven't diamond painted for a couple days, and I am not one of those people that has to diamond paint every single day. I know there are some people that they feel like they're not accomplished unless they are, and I know, like, I have other things I have to get done, and I only work when my kiddo is sleeping. So if the other day, for example, she didn't take a nap at all. Like, we didn't even put her down because we got home so late. And we're also down to, like, you know, like two naps a month. Womp womp. It's not worth me coming up at night and trying to get a day's worth, quote unquote, of work done when I know I'm not going to be able to sit here for that long. So that's one of the reasons. And also, like, I like to give my body, like, time to rest and recover. So if you guys ever have that, like, crafter shoulder, elbow, neck pain, whatever, cut yourself some slack, give yourself some grace, relax, take the day off, you know, all that stuff. And if you guys are hearing any noise, commotion, whatnot in the background, my husband is packing and shipping today. So you may hear him say, "Hi, husband."
Hi, husband.
So, if you guys don't know, my husband is the DaddaMonster, and he is a Funko Pop customizer. So, I will tell you guys about my week. Let me know down below something super fun that you guys did this past week, and or something that you are looking forward to for this current week. So I will tell you, there were definitely some super fun moments this past week, and this week what I am looking forward to most is my birthday. My birthday is on Saturday, November 13th. If you were watching this in the future, it was on Saturday, November 13th. Or it'll be coming up November 13th of whatever year we're in. So anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about the week. So Monday we had speech and OT, and OT was nothing special that day. If you guys are watching this, like, with your eyeballs, not just listening, and you see me, like, reaching across the screen like that, I actually have a tablet up over here that I have been keeping track of stuff on. And there's nothing worse than, like, sitting down to record and, like, forgetting everything you did that week, or having to be like, what did we do that day, to my husband? Because honestly, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, once you've moved past something by a certain amount of time, like, you no longer remember the fine details.
Except for me.
So, oh really? Do you remember what we did last Monday exactly?
Give me a minute.
Well, no need, because I have it written right here. So anyway, we had OT. That was nothing extravagant or special that day. And then we went over, her speech sessions are held in a church. I really want to ask her how she ended up in a church space, because she doesn't work for the church, And every time, like, she'll be like, oh, I don't know anything about, like, nothing revolving around the actual church does she know, which is fine. I'm not trying to seek information on the church, but...
Oh, never mind. Good.
Okay.
My Wi-Fi wasn't showing up, so I was making sure our Wi-Fi was working, but it's fine.
Yes, I assume the Wi-Fi is working for me. Now. Okay. So, there's this PVC pipe structure at the church playground. So my daughter has enough time between OT, which is at our house, and when speech starts, to sometimes have a little bit of an enjoyable time over at the playground. Ooh, I'm gonna shift some things around here real quick, hopefully. You know, people always say, like, they love the big light pads. I'm like, I never need one. But for something like that, it would be nice to not have to shift. I might be working out of frame a little bit here. But anyway, so they have this big PVC pipe structure. And at first I was like, maybe it's monkey bars? But it can't be, because they're not meant to hold that kind of weight. And then I was like, maybe it's meant to, like, have something thrown over it, make it a tent. But there's pipes everywhere. So it's not like they could play in it, and then it's too small to be a maze. I have no idea what it is. So I asked her speech teacher, and she's like, I have no idea, but I have a friend who actually attends this church. Let me see if they know. So if I find out and I remember, I'll let you guys know, but I literally have no idea what the point of it is. Where's my other pen? If you guys are hearing that, that is just packing tape in the background. I don't know how prevalent it'll be in the playback, but... you know.
You're going to hear it a lot.
Yeah. I'm not saying it as a complaining. I'm just letting people know. If they're like, what the? That's what that is. So anyway. But we have enough time. Her OT session is 9 to 9:30-ish. Sometimes her teacher's late. And then her speech is 10:30 to 11. Although that all changed. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. Oh my God. I am not prepared with my pens and my wax today. I've got a million pens on my desk, but didn't see if any of them need wax. So anyway, we did that, and then she had speech, which obviously, you know, and she had a really, really good speech session, and so we were like, okay, we're going to go take her to go get tacos. And my husband and I, neither one of us seemed to realize that the place we were going to go was closed Mondays. So, of course, we told the toddler. The toddler got excited. Then the toddler got sad. But we ended up going to get pizza. And that's one of the things. She'll always say to you, I want pizza. And then when she asks for pizza, she never eats it. I'm like, why are we getting pizza then? Because my husband and I aren't, like, we're not getting a whole pizza for the table. Anyway, I just had, like, thoughts in my head, and then I realized I'm recording, and, like, I need to be talking and not just, like, thinking, like, literally thinking in my own head. But, also, this wooden pen is also from Kevin's Creations, and I love that he does, wooden, resin, and hybrid pens. Fun fact, his wife pours a lot of the resins, the blanks. So, anyway, total tangent here. So, we ended up going to get pizza, and then I had a chiropractor appointment. I'm starting to get to the point now. Now I'm only at twice a week for my chiropractors, and then it'll go to once a week, and then I won't be on a care plan anymore, just like wellness updates as needed. So, you know, it's exciting and bittersweet, because, like, I do like the way I've been feeling. Oddly enough, my husband said to me the other day, you think the chiropractor has been helping you? And I was like, I think so. And he's like, I haven't noticed that you've been having, like, any days of, like, pain the way you used to. And then, like, literally later that day, I was in so much pain that I could not move. And I was like, son of a bitch. Anyway, but I did, I'm doing planks now. My chiropractor, this is probably really boring stuff, but they have us do, like, you get adjusted, and then I also go onto a decompression table where they basically stretch out my spine, and then I also do exercises. I want to say she's a rehab specialist. I'm not really sure what her official, like, title or position is. But she's super sweet, and we have moved on, and now we've added in planks. And the first time I did the planks, I felt like my whole body was going to give out underneath me.
You did something with a volleyball there?
No, I do something on one of those big exercise balls, though.
Briar kept saying, Mommy has to go play with the volleyball.
Yeah, it's one of those giant, like, exercise balls that you sit on. She kept trying to throw it around the room, and I was like, Briar. So my kid came with me the one day, and she was, like, tearing up their gym. But anyway, so I do the stretches, I do the decompression table, and I get adjusted. So that's, like, my whole time that I'm there, and, yeah. I use resistance bands, I do stretches on the mat, I do all these things. So it definitely is giving me tools that, like, when I'm not seeing a chiropractor regularly, like, I can still implement them and help strengthening my core and building up some of the areas that tend to get more sore than others. If you guys don't know at all, like, what I'm talking about, I've been dealing with some horrible sciatica, and I didn't realize it was sciatica. My husband was like, I'm pretty sure that's your sciatic nerve. Lo and behold, he was correct. I made an appointment for a chiropractor, and I have been going from there. She's wonderful, the chiropractor. If you guys are local, I highly recommend Hershey Family Chiropractics. If you're not local, I still recommend them. They're awesome. The whole staff is wonderful. And then I started this kit, which is Beauty and the Beast. This is a Mandie Manzano kit from Diamond Art Club. It is an older kit. I am doing this for the Tale as Old as Time DP along, hosted by Krystal over at Classy Sassy Stitcher. There is still time to join if you are watching this in current time. The event runs in the month of November. She has all the details listed on her Instagram, and yeah, I'm excited. She's doing it for the 30th anniversary of the animated movie Beauty and the Beast. I don't know where my cheap... There we go. I like to keep a pair... Oh, that's right on the adhesive. A pair of, like, those cheap plastic tweezers. This is obviously just half of one of them. But these, I think, are perfect for, like, getting the wax out of your tips when you need to fill them back up and things of that nature. They're also really good. I love them on any kind of metal tip. They don't have to be the stainless steel metal, but they don't scratch the way, like, using metal tweezers would. So, just gonna kind of hope that works. Let's do... But this canvas is really pretty. It makes me remind me why I don't love lots and lots of confetti. You know, I still like confetti. I just don't love confetti the way I used to. But I feel like, just like our tastes change, like, in the non-crafting world, they change in the crafting world too. Like, what you might like when you first started doing this craft might be not what you gravitate towards anymore. Although I can't ever see myself not wanting to do all the girls with the big eyes. I love me some girls with big eyes. If you guys did not know that. Where did that just go? Well, I guess it can't be that bad if I can't find it. I have this one with no wax in it if I needed to readjust. Anyway, I'm like super rambly. What's new? So, we took B to Get Air, which is an indoor trampoline park. Now, we had taken her to a different trampoline park on the other side of the river. And as much as we enjoyed it, it was very, very expensive. So there's Sky Zone and there's Get Air. I'm sure there are more than that. But holy moly, was Sky Zone substantially more expensive. Like, I think I paid 3 times as much for us to go to Sky Zone. Anyway, so we took her to Get Air, which only recently opened. It's been coming soon for like a year and a half. And while I enjoyed my time there, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it in depth here, I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not as much of a trampoline park as it is like an indoor play area. That's fine. It's harder to keep tabs on a small child in a play area than on an open trampoline. And it's also harder, like, if there's a bigger kid that's, you know, taking over the place to move them out of the way, if you know what I mean. But anyway, we went and they had this whole like kid section. I think it was under 49 inches or 46 inches or something like that. And so it was meant for, you know, small kids. And we went and she didn't really understand that those trampolines were trampolines because there were only like 2 of them. Whereas the other place had like a whole like wall to wall. But then they had this huge play structure in the middle of the facility. And when I say huge, it was like 4 levels high. I guess not really 4 stories, but 4 levels. And it had tube slides and things you can hang on and things you could climb on. Just a million different things. And my daughter went all the way up to the top of the play structure by herself, which, like, my husband and I are both large people. My husband is also large in height, whereas I am not. But these kinds of things are not meant for large parents because, like, if your kid gets stuck, like, I can't get up there. Or he can't get up there. We can only get up to so far before, like, I can't fit. And honestly, my husband could probably do more than I could just because, I don't know. He would never, ever let anything happen to our kid. Not that I would. Let's just preface that. I'm not... Yeah, he would. But, anyway, so she went up and she would climb all the way up and come down the slide and she had a really great time. It was super bittersweet for me because that used to be Babies R Us. Like, that's the Babies R Us that we registered for our baby shower. And that's the Babies R Us that, you know, we spent so much time there. And now it's a trampoline park. And it's fantastic to see what they've done with it. But, it's a little bittersweet for me. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, but we enjoyed that. She had a lot of fun, and then we ended up going to Red Lobster because Red Lobster's not that far away. And I had a great meal. Briar, we've come to the conclusion or realization on days that she seems like, especially when she seems hungry or hangry or antsy, if we're going somewhere to eat, if we look at the menu in the car on the ride over, and pick out our meal, then if we place it right away, we usually get it pretty quickly. And it gives her like a sense of pride because she walks in and she's like, I want this to eat with this. And we did that and she ate really well. Like, I was shocked how well she ate that night. But, there was a family sitting at the booth, like, next to ours. And there was a fresh baby. I think the woman said the baby was, like, 9 weeks old. But if you guys are new here, my kiddo was born with an airway disorder called laryngomalacia. If you're interested, I will put the video that's B's story up in the eye. It is... more like medical talk and things like that. But it's our story and what we went through as a family, what my daughter went through, what we went through as parents. So if that's not your thing, like, totally understand. But I will link that up in the eye and you guys can get a better idea of what we've been through if that's your thing. So this woman was feeding her baby and it's so weird because we're so past that stage. Like, my daughter is going to be 4 this month. And I watched... It's weird to say that I watched in envy. And I am definitely going to get emotional here. So, I don't want to say I apologize because I don't. I said to my husband afterwards, I said, so that's what it's like. That's what it's like to have a quote-unquote normal baby. I watched this baby not make a sound. I don't mean, like, baby sounds. My daughter had Strider, and it was such a dominant sound in her early stages. And I honestly, somebody recently asked me, like, when it went away, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. It just one day, it just wasn't there anymore. And
like when you're sick and have a cough, your cough eventually goes away. You don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. And I just looked at my husband, and it's a weird thing. If you've never been in a similar situation, you're probably like, well, that's a weird thing to be envious of or jealous of, or whatever term you want to use here. But our daughter never just breathed or existed quietly. Our daughter never was able to drink from a bottle without it being a fight, because she had the airway disorder, she had dysphagia, she aspirated on thin liquids, and then the reflux, it was so hard and so different. And I see all these videos, like their Instagram, like reels and TikToks, where it's like, when people say that the newborn stage is the hardest, and then they show you like the video clips of toddlers like destroying their houses and being destructive, and I'm like, I will stand here and say, for us, those toddler years didn't hold a candle to how hard it was in that newborn stage. But it just, I'm not usually around new babies. I don't have any close friends that have new babies, and it was interesting. It was a sight to see, a sight to hear, whatever you want to call it. But we have been doing these dry erase activity books with Briar at mealtime, like at restaurants and stuff like that, and they've been doing really, really good. She seems to really be enjoying them. Excuse me. So Tuesday we went to ice skating. That is our normal ice skating session. It's so weird. The last session had so many kids in it, and this one has like 3 kids. There's a little boy in our group he just turned 2, and he's finally starting to like take little steps by himself on the ice. I'm super impressed, but we were talking to his mom. They now have him there like 3 days a week, which, obviously somebody's going to learn and progress more quickly if they're doing it multiple times a week. But he is such a pistol. He's so cute. Well, her normal little guy wasn't there. And then we went over to Chili's for lunch, and she was making our waiter laugh. It was adorable. So I was like, can we get some more napkins? And she had the stack of napkins in front of her. And next thing I know, I hear, hello, hello, hello. This is Life with Lindsay. I'm Lindsay. And she's like moving her hands like that. And I'm like, oh my God, she's doing a full intro to one of my videos about the stack of napkins that's in front of her. And like, the waiter doesn't know who I am. Most people in this world don't know who I am. So he's just looking at her like, what? And I was like, oh my God. I had one of those moments where I was like, oh my God, kid, I don't know whether I should be proud of you or embarrassed. Like, it just made everybody giggle, but it was adorable. She was super sweet. He's waited on us before.
He's really good. Like,
yeah.
He's very laissez-faire.
Yeah, he really just doesn't really care.
But that's fine, because he does a great job. Like, you do a shit job and you have that kind of attitude, like...
Yeah.
People will see you being a dick, but you do a great job.
I hope that you guys can hear him. But either way, we're just going to move on. So, it was just funny to watch that. And then we went to Starbucks. And Starbucks, hear me out here, please. You have kid-size options for hot chocolate. Why do you not have kid-size options for any of the other drinks? Now, if people are going to sit here and be like, oh my God, you're giving your toddler a Starbucks drink? The cream frappuccinos have no caffeine in them. So, getting her an iced cream frap, or whatever they're called, I'm going to just put this one. There's no caffeine. It's basically like a fancy-ass milkshake that costs a crap ton of money. And yeah, okay. But when everybody else is getting one and she wants something, I got her one. And by the way, her one, she drank over the span of 2 days. But we got her, she picked out the, they've already since changed over to a different menu, but we got her the strawberry funnel cake cream frap. And she was funny because she kept picking out, and I am definitely hitting the camera every time I do that. She was picking out the little funnel cake pieces. And I was like, that's part of your drink. She was a hoot, though. And then my husband got his rest in peace caramel apple frap, whatever you're called. Not frap, macchiato. They have since swapped over from the fall drinks to the winter drinks. So now there are like your peppermint stuff, which like I like peppermint, but I just don't understand. Starbucks is notorious for this. The second that they release a new flavor or a holiday flavor or whatever, like anything that was available the day before is no longer available. Whereas Dunkin' Donuts, like they'll still keep it going until they completely run out of it. And I'm like, I know you didn't run out of pumpkin. I know you didn't. Come on now. I'm a pumpkin year-round kind of person, so... Do I need more wax here too? I'm losing my mind. I feel like I've already filled like 3 pens. This is what happens when you go back and forth between multiple pens. But Tuesday, my husband had said to me, one of his buddies, we have a friend who he basically like runs this local pizza joint, and he works like 85 hours a week, and they're so short-staffed, and like pre-COVID they were always working him to the bone, but he very rarely gets off. So when he does, it's kind of a big deal. And Brian's like, yeah, a couple of the guys want to get together. Your knitting thing is Mondays, right? And I was like, it's Tuesday. And he's like, crap. So he ended up persuading them to do it earlier. So he went and had dinner, drinks with a couple of his buddies. And I had a one-on-one date night with Briar. We ordered in Pizza Hut because, like I said earlier, she always tells me she wants pizza and then never eats it. Like, she even picked out she wanted the extra pepperoni. Like, all she did was take the pepperoni off of her pizza and eat it. I was like, cool, thanks. But we did that, and then I went to my knitting circle, crochet group, whatever you want to call it. I am really enjoying it. It's a very interesting crowd. I am by far the youngest person in there, unless there's someone in there who just didn't age well, which, I mean, not my place. But I am really enjoying meeting people that I can connect with on that kind of level, because for me, I don't have a lot of mommy friends because everything that was going on with Briar, like pre-COVID, we started to lose a lot of our mommy friends because quote unquote, it was too hard, or they didn't know what to say or do while I was going through things. But like, if I'm dealing with some health hardships and you say it's too difficult to be my friend, like, how does that make me and my kid feel? Just, it always boggled my mind. And like, I had somebody that was like, it was just too much. I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, well, first of all, you didn't have to do anything. Like, I'm not asking you to make my kids bottles for me. I'm not asking you to take her to a specialist. Like, I'm just asking you to be my friend and to offer support. And, you know, maybe keep an eye on your kid's cups so that my kid isn't aspirating on your kid's water. You know, nothing big. And then the pandemic hit and all social interactions went by the wayside. So I figured if I'm going to surround myself by people in real life, you know, finding friends through my daughter isn't necessarily the thing that's working right now, because we're really the only social activity we do is ice skating, and those people are there to have a lesson and then leave, and that's it. And that's fine, because I am not expecting them to be like, oh my god, our kid should have a play date. They've literally never had a conversation, but they spend 45 minutes on the ice together every week. So for me, finding people who are also into some of the crafts that I'm into, at least it's a starting point. You know, I mean, I would love to find a real life community of diamond painters, but diamond painting is not quite as easy to, you know, take with you wherever you want to go. But if you guys are interested, I do have a diamond painting on the go video. I will link that for you guys up in the eye. But it's been fun. I have been learning a lot. I've only been there twice. They've only had it twice, but I've really been learning a lot, and I'm excited. And it's nice to sit there and know that, like, when somebody sees me pulling out stitch after stitch after stitch after stitch, that, like, they've been there. They know how much it sucks. They feel my pain. Whereas, like, if I do that in front of my daughter, why are you doing that? And she wants to pull the yarn. I'm like, no, 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 no. Don't undo all of it. Like, stop. She doesn't understand. I shouldn't expect her to. Take a sip of water. And then Wednesday, we went to Kinder Music. I don't know who gave my daughter permission to look like a full-blown teenager. But she looked like a tiny little hippie. She had these big bell bottoms on, a shirt that said, "Stay Wild, Moonchild," a blue velvet duster, crystals around her neck, and then she let me, for a short time, put her hair in like a little braid that was like a half up, half down kind of style. She looked like a hippie. She looked so grown up. It breaks my heart. I love seeing the little human she's turning into, but it makes me so sad that she's not my little baby anymore. And that she needs me less and less every single day that passes. And I'm definitely more sentimental than usual, which I'm always sentimental, but because, you know, her birthday's coming up. And I know that's normal. I know I'm not the only person out there who has a kid that they miss certain time periods of their life, or, you know, they wish they could freeze them and keep them little forever. But, oh, God, I didn't expect to cry this much in this WIP Chat today. But we had a great time. Her Kinder Music instructor, if she ever decides to stop doing Kinder Music, I really hope that she gets into the field of early childhood education, because she is absolutely fantastic. She knows how to work with these kids. She knows how to cater things towards different children. Like, there's one little boy in our class who really likes music. So when there's no activities happening, she'll just have music on in the background. There's another little girl who always wants the bubbles, so she makes sure to incorporate that. And for Briar, she really likes... the instructor will put out like plush friends for them to play with in the beginning of class before we officially start. And then she always says, like, books away, toys away. And they all rush to put them away. Now, Briar will help put everything away, but she tends to hang on to one plush. And her teacher's totally fine with that, because it's really just a comfort thing for her. It's like a security blanket. And then she gives it back to her at the end of the lesson. But she held on to Sky from Paw Patrol the entire time we were there. And, like, it's funny, she would have, like, Sky, like, tucked into her pocket or under her arm. And then she would use the other hand to, like, put all the other toys away or help. And it definitely... we've noticed makes a huge difference when she's allowed to hang on to something like that. And like I said, her instructor knows, and she's totally cool with that. But she participated. It's so weird. We'll have certain days where, like, she'll go in and she'll be like, I can't wait to see my friends today. And then she won't engage. She won't participate at all. This was not that case. She was singing all the songs. They do a hello song every single time. And they ask you, how do you want to say hello? So, like, we would wave hello, or stomp our feet hello, or twirl hello, or bark like a dog. And she came up with her own, which is the first time, I think, ever that she's ever picked, like, ever in the 4 years we've been doing this. 3.5 years. But it's nice to see her coming out of her shell. My daughter is such a sweet, loving little kid, but she's so different with adults than she is with kids. And I was talking to somebody about this. Sorry, I was trying to get my words, and they're hard right now. And she was telling me, your daughter is so used to always being around adults, and she wasn't saying it as like a negative thing. She's like, so it's understandable that her behavior with children is different than her behavior with children. And we've always seen this, and this is something I actually like spoke to her team about with the IU stuff, is like when we do get into a social situation, I want to work on this because my daughter has always physically been such a small child and so much smaller than many of her peers. She has physically always been the one to be pushed around. So if a kid comes up and wants to take her toy or play with her toy, she just lets it happen and sits back, and she doesn't stand up for herself. And I'm sure I'll get some flack for this, but I am not one of those parents that thinks that we need to teach our child to share every single thing that they own. If she's playing with like general toys, yes, she needs to share. She needs to know how to share. She needs to know it's okay to share. But I'm not going to make her take her like prized possession or her security blanket and let another kid play with it, because I'm not going to put my child in a situation in which she is uncomfortable, overwhelmed, scared just to appease another child, because that's not healthy or beneficial for my child. And like, you know, not to sound rude, but my kid comes first, you know? And I don't think that does, but I'm sure there's someone out there that's like, no, we need to teach our kids to always share. And, like, I've been in situations where people have said to me, well, your daughter needs to share this. And I'm like, that's not accurate. You don't need to police what my daughter needs to share. There's certain things we don't share in life, you know, like germs and cooties. Let's keep those to ourselves. Anyway, so we, decided we were going to go check out that taco truck that we didn't get to go to on Monday. You guys, it's like a 40-minute drive from us. It was worth every second of it. It was so good. They are the quesadilla tacos. If you've never had them, it is like a skirt of cheese melted into your tortilla with the meat and then the consomme. And then they gave a side of salsa verde. Oh my goodness. You guys, it was like heaven. And my husband has already said, like, today, when can we go back? Like, it was so good. Not cheap, but food truck stuff never is, I feel like. At least not near us. But it's in the middle of an abandoned Kmart parking lot. And it's very strange because I'm like, I wonder if the people who are parked here have permits, because there are so many tractor trailers and RVs and things that seem abandoned. I don't know. It seems like a weird, like, graveyard for vehicles. And I honestly don't know how long that Kmart's been closed. I don't know if they were in this parking lot while Kmart was open. I have no idea. I found them on Instagram, actually. And I did post some pictures that day from our trip. So if you guys don't follow me, go check me out. I am Life.W.Lindsay. All of my information, by the way, all my contact information, how to follow me, my Facebook group, all that stuff is always listed down in the description box below. Let's be social. Let's be friends. So that was great. We loved that. That was so good. And then Thursday, I used to take Briar to a breastfeeding support group. It was run by 2 nurses at the local hospital here. You do not need to have had your child delivered at that hospital in order to participate, but they were, I want to say they were both lactation consultants as well. One, apparently, I did not know this, is already, like, moved elsewhere, and another nurse has taken her place, but the other nurse was so instrumental to me and my family when our baby was little. You gotta remember, my kid was a couple months old when she finally got diagnosed with her airway disorder, so I would sit there in group. They would have it twice a week, and I would go usually twice a week, and I would just sit there and cry because I couldn't get my kid to eat or I couldn't get her to breathe okay, or it was just very, very sad and very traumatic. And she was a huge, huge asset to us and a great resource because, again, she's also a nurse. So she was able to say, well, why don't you bring this up to your doctor? Or why don't you, you know, say this or try this or whatever. And Thursday was her last day in that position. And she had invited all of the families who have since, you know, like, I don't take Briar there anymore because she's not a baby anymore. And we went for a long time. I want to say I took Briar for like a year and a half. It was really a mom support group to ask those questions, like how many times should my kid be pooping, or, you know, for me, one of the biggest things was they had a scale so I could weigh my daughter twice a week.
I think you only stopped taking her after she stopped eating breast milk.
Yeah,
a year and a half.
About a year and a half, yeah. My kiddo was exclusively pumped for, so she had breast milk till she was just about 19 months old. Like a couple days before 19 months. Which, whew, I always said to my husband, if we ever have another one, like, I don't know that I could do that again. I really don't. It was so exhausting. But anyway, so we saw Nicole, and she had said to me, like, we were texting back and forth, and she's like, just so you know, you've really helped one of my moms a lot. And I'm like, me? How did I help someone? And then I realized who it was. And I've been offering online support to a local mom who has a son that has some similar health issues to my daughter, and to be able to give her support and advice. And, you know, sometimes just talking to somebody who's walked down the path before you is all it takes. And when we were going through it with my daughter, we didn't have that at all. And there's nothing more isolating than having a kid who has needs that are different than their peers and nobody to talk to or ask questions to or anything like that. And so I'm thankful that I could be a little bit of that to this girl. But we did that, and then my husband actually took Thursday morning to just work. So I took Briar with me to that, and then we went to lunch, and she ordered a grilled cheese and then proceeded to eat all the food off of my plate and not touch her grilled cheese, which I just now remembered I have half of in the refrigerator, so I need to throw that out. My fridge, tell me you guys are like this, is the place where leftovers go to die. We just aren't big leftover people in this house. And, you know, it's a shame because sometimes we have good leftovers, but other times it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that's still in there. Yeah. I mean, we've also left them at the restaurant before, but anyway. So we went to lunch, and then she went with me to like chiropractor, and I did all of my stretches that I was talking about, and Briar's laying on the floor doing them with me. And then I now do this. This is what my husband was asking. I do these exercises where I sit on an exercise ball and I do resistance bands. Now, they have me on the lightest strength weight resistance bands. I don't know what the right terms are. And then my daughter goes over, unbeknownst to me, to the strongest of all of them. Not just pulls it all the way to the floor, lays on the floor with it, and stands back up over and over and over. She thinks it's a game. The rehab specialist is like, oh my God, she's really strong. And I'm like, yeah, she is. I love my kid. She is like an ant, like an A-N-T, not like a auntie. And she can lift her own body. It's crazy how strong our kid is. But she's funny. She likes coming with me to the chiropractor, but then she like runs around, and, you know, when I'm in the middle of doing the compression table specifically, like I can't do anything. So I always try to make sure she stays by my head, but, you know, she's independent and she's fierce and all these things. And I asked before I brought her in. Not only that, because of like COVID restrictions, sometimes they don't let you bring people into doctor's offices and situations like that. And I didn't want to just show up with my kid one day and have them be like, oh, I'm sorry, this is for patients only. But they give her stickers. Like, no wonder she loves going there. They fawn all over her, as they should. But anyway, we went to Haas's. I don't know if you guys have a Haas's near you. My husband was really craving it, and I was like, all right, I'm a little bit leery about going to any kind of buffet while we're in the midst of a pandemic, but they have extra barriers up. They have plastic gloves that you just slide your hands into. Like, you don't have to reach into a box to get any of them. And every time, like, I would go up, I would keep my mask on, I would have my gloves on, things like that, and then there's a trash can right there for you to throw it away. I took all of the extra precautions, and then I go over to get dessert, and I see this lady using her bare fingers to pick up a damn cookie. Nah. We're not playing that game. No, ma'am. As Mrs. Coffee would say, no ma'am, no ham, no turkey. No, thank you. I was like, and I gave her dirty looks. She didn't care. I mean, thankfully it was oatmeal raisin cookies, which are the grossest thing on the planet. If you guys ever were curious, raisins are a hard no for me. Hard no. No. There's no reason that a raisin is good in my book. If you like raisins, you do you, boo. But no. Nope. Raisins are one of my no foods. Anyway, so it was an interesting experience taking Briar there. But, like, they had gloves and they had tongs, and this lady used her fingers. But it was funny, Briar was dressed up in this, like, super neon 80s Lisa Frank loving outfit, and she got so many compliments, and every single person that, like, breathed in her direction that day, all day, do you like my outfit? You want to see me twirl? Do you like my outfit? I'm like, oh my god, this kid is such a ham. She is such a ham, you guys. And then Friday, we just had, like, a lounge day. We knew Saturday was going to be a big day. Friday, we just stayed home, and, we watched Aladdin? Yes, we watched Aladdin. This was the day that Dunkin' changed their menu, Starbucks changed their menu. And so I had said something just in conversation, like, oh, now they have mini pancakes at Dunkin'. So for like 2 days, Briar was like, I want to go to Dunkin' and get mini pancakes. So we eventually went through the drive-thru, and she got her mini pancakes. And let me tell you, she actually ate the mini pancakes, which I was shocked by. But I got my first peppermint drink of the season. I had a really lovely lounge day. Our kids' favorite phrase is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do next? What are we going to do later? What are we going to do after this? What are we going to do? And sometimes we're just not going to do anything. But when I say that, she's like, I don't want to. Like, I want to do something. Like, and it's harder when it's cold because I can't just be like, well, let's go outside and play. Sometimes I can, but it doesn't always work, you know? So we just chilled. She seemed to really like Aladdin. That was the first time you've seen Aladdin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I love that movie. And fight me on this, but like, I didn't watch the live action. And part of the reason I didn't is because I just couldn't get behind anyone being the genie. Now, I've heard Will Smith did a really good job, but like, I'm not interested. That role was meant for Robin Williams. Rest in peace. He did an amazing job as the genie. Like, I don't know if that role was written specifically for him or not, but it feels like it was. Anyway, so I bought a crochet pattern. I hope that you guys are enjoying the crochet content that I am sharing. But I bought a pattern. It's going to take a crap ton of yarn. I have 20 skeins coming from Joann's. They've been shipped. And that's just one of the colors in the sweater. It has multiple colors, but I was like, let me just start with that one. It's done in, like, it's a patchwork sweater. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on that color only and just start making the patches for it. Because they need to be, you know, pretty uniform or uniform-ish. And if I start doing it and it's just not going to happen, then I will either return the other skeins or I will use them for other projects. Like, it's not like a yarn I wouldn't use for other things. But I'm nervous and excited and all of that fun stuff. And we're just going to have to see. But it's crazy, you guys. So I bought the pattern, which wasn't much. It was, a couple dollars. And I was emailing back and forth between the woman who wrote the pattern, and she said to me, oh, well, the tester for that size didn't actually keep track of her yardage, so it might be much less. And I'm like, oh, okay. It takes 5,500 yards of yarn to make the sweater in my size, which is a lot. Yeah, so just pray for me. I'll post updates. Don't expect this sweater to be done, like, anytime soon. I'm very ambitious, but, so Saturday, oh, wait a minute, Friday. So Friday, after all of that was happening, we decided, okay, let's take a bath and let's hang out. And we were on the phone with my mother-in-law. A lot of times if we do like a bath before bedtime, we'll call my mother-in-law because my daughter will just be running around and she gets a kick out of listening to her, just be silly and goofy. And all of a sudden, my daughter threw herself into my lap, threw her head back, totally headbutted me in the face. I'm now bleeding from my gums. And then she got freaked out and tried to run forward, but her hair snagged on my lip ring, so she's not understanding. Like, she's connected to my face. And I'm like holding her hair, like, stop moving, stop moving, stop moving. And she's screaming because she wants to run. But every time she's running, she's pulling. So thankfully, I was able to get my lip ring off, which I don't have a ball on my lip ring. It's literally just open. It's been like that for, I'm not even sure how many years now. I just never opted to go get another one, because it works fine. But the reason I was able to get it off so quickly was that, but that's also the same reason why I got stuck in her hair. But it was a bad situation, and like, I'm bleeding from my face, my kids screaming. It was a nightmare. And then she got worked up. It was horrible. It was awful. There's no other words to just describe. And I was literally on the phone with my mother-in-law when it happened, and I was like, I have to go. Bye. And I just hung up. My mother-in-law knew something was up because when we talked to her, like, the next day or the day after, she's like, was everything okay? And I explained the situation. She's like, I knew something was, like, going down. I just didn't want to bother. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate it. Because nothing's worse than having to try to explain, like, the shit situation that you're in as it's happening to someone. Especially because in those kinds of situations, my mother-in-law, like, I love her dearly, but she'll always be like, Briar, just relax, just calm down, as if, like, her saying it is going to be any different than the 3 billion times that we've said it and it didn't work. But anyway, the next day was Saturday. This is probably all I'm going to have time for. Maybe I can touch base on Sunday. But Saturday, we went to a birthday party. We went to a party. It was out of state. It's about an hour and 20 minutes each way. A little girl, same age as Briar. It was an Alice in Wonderland themed birthday party. You guys, this was the most fantastic kids event I have ever been to. Ever. As an adult, when I was a child, it doesn't matter. It was fantastic. It was so well organized and so much thought went into it that, like, we never had to hover over our kid. She played with other kids. It took her a while to warm up, because she didn't know any of these kids except for the girl whose birthday party it was. And we had a little bit of a hiccup before going to the party because, she knows her birthday's coming up, but she couldn't understand that, like, this is not for you. This is for your friend's birthday, not your birthday. But once we got through that, it was good. You guys, it was amazing. They had an activity where the kids painted the roses red. Like, they literally painted white roses red. They did an activity where they played croquet in the backyard. They had, like, a beanbag toss. Every child had a setup. It was a plastic teacup, like sippy cup almost, with a straw on it. And then inside the box, each kid got high chews and a small, like the $50 size containers of Play-Doh. Then instead of doing like what are they called? The little bags you give aways to your guests. Party favors. Instead of doing party favors, they did an activity where kids played a game to get a little prize. Of course, every kid got a prize, but Briar got these 2 tiny little, I think they're really unicorns. She keeps calling them ponies. And, like, we're talking, like, the size of a dime. They're super, super tiny. They came in some, like, foam something or other. I don't know. It was cute. She's super into it. She's been carrying them around for the last couple days. It was so enjoyable. And, like, I reached out to the parents afterwards, and I was like, thank you guys so much. Like, we had a blast. We did not mind driving in. You know, if you had good company, good food, good entertainment, and it was in their backyard. The weather was beautiful. I mean, it was, you guys, it was an absolutely incredible day. And I am incredibly thankful to have friends like that want to include my daughter in little festivities and things like that. But again, in that situation, we could see a couple kids came over and they wanted to play with Briar's new toy that had the foam. The little foam was in a plastic bubble bath. So it was supposed to look like bubbles in a bubble bath. And they were like, we want to see it. And instead of being like, no, like, this is my toy, she just kind of let them all, like, touch it and take it. And you could see she looked fearful, but she didn't want to say, like, don't take my toy away. And at one point, I even did say something to one of the kids. I was like, I didn't say something to the kids. I said something to Briar. I said, don't worry, sweetheart. They're not going to take your toy from you. They just want to touch it. And I think that at that moment, it clicked to the one kid, like, oh, I can't take this toy from her. But in general, all of the kids were really fantastic. She had an older sibling that was there, and his friends were all super, super sweet with the little kids. I mean, it was really, really fantastic. And I guess I do have a little bit of time. So I'll tell you guys about Sunday real quick, and then I will skedaddle out of here. Sunday, my husband wanted to go to a baseball card show that was at the one mall. Now, this mall also has a Build-A-Bear. If you guys did not know, and I'm only speaking for the U.S., I do not know if the same program exists in other countries, but they have a program. It is called Pay Your Age, and it is for a birthday bear. Every year, the birthday bear itself changes, so don't worry if you're like, oh, well, my kid got one last year. It's a different bear. And what you do is you pick out the bear. It says happy birthday on the foot or has some kind of indication that it's the birthday bear. And then you pay how old your kid is turning. So for us, we paid $4 for our Build-A-Bear. Once you hit 14 or older, it's the same price. It's just $14. So, like, I wouldn't be paying $30-something. My husband wouldn't be paying $40-something. We would each pay $14 for one for ourselves. You do not need to sign up for anything. You just tell them that it is your birthday or it is the month of your birthday. So it's not our kid's birthday yet, but her birthday is in November. So we got the bear, we got it stuffed, and because we didn't pay the arm and a leg for the bear itself, we bought her a little outfit. And then, of course, they're like, did you want to take a bag or a box? I'm like, we don't need anything. She's just going to carry the bear, which she did. So if you've been following along and you've been here long enough, you've heard the stories of every time we went into FYE, there was always a container of plushes that had these 3 blue dragons. They're like Beanie Babies. The dragon's name is Sapphire, and every single time we've gone in there, and it's been like 4 or 5 times, she goes over, after the first initial time of her understanding that, like, these live here, but we can come see them later. She keeps coming in, and she wants to go see them, and, like, that's all she wants to do is just go over to where they are, give them a hug, tell them she loves them, and that she'll see them again next time. So we went in, and they had moved them. And my daughter went into, like, panic mode real quick. Like, real quick. And there was an employee who was there the very first time we were there, and she watched my daughter cry and cry and cry in the middle of the store talking about how much she loved these dragons. She loved them so much and she's going to miss them. And she actually offered to buy one for our daughter. And I said, look, I appreciate it, but she needs to understand that just because she walks into somewhere doesn't mean she's going to get a toy or a treat or whatever. And I said, don't worry, Briar, we'll ask them where they are. And I didn't even need to go over. She came right over and she goes, oh, we moved them over here. She's like, there's only one left. So she already knew what we were there for, what we were doing. My husband was looking at the pops to see if there was anything for work and or personal collection purposes. And there was one more of these blue dragons. And she picked it up. She gave it a hug. She told it she missed it and she loved it and she would see it next time. And I said, well, sweetheart, we're going to get this for you for your birthday. And oh my God, did we make this kid's day. She started crying. Thank you so much. I love it so much. It's my best friend. You know, all these sweet little things that she's saying about this dragon. And like, you guys, it's like a Beanie Baby. So it was like $5-6. I think. I don't even know how much Beanie Babies are. Mm-hmm.
And it's actually a Beanie Baby. It's
yeah. Yeah, it is. I know. And it is so cute, you guys. She has been toting it around since she got it. And it's like, it's in her bed with her right now while she's napping. It just, you guys, it made her day. It made her week. She's so appreciative of it. She loves it so much. And that's why we don't.
She's currently sitting in her chair.
Okay, so she's sitting in her rocking chair, rocking it against her chest. Like, at this exact moment, my husband just pulled up the camera. So, I'm going to stop on that note. You guys, if you have made it this far, let me know. Were you a Beanie Baby collector? And if so, what was your favorite? I always loved, I had a light blue elephant, the Pillow Pals, which were the bigger ones. His name was Peanut, and that used to be like my security blanket. It would come with me for like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. But I'm gonna skedaddle out of here, get this edited and up as quickly as I can, so you guys have this for Tuesday morning at this point. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this. I love hanging out with you guys week after week. If you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content like this or nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell.
Yay!
I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or like today, sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!